up, my dudes? It's Trent. Today I want to talk to you about the highest standard. Now, this is a dilemma that I've faced many times in my career. You're supposed to work fast, but then you also got to live up to the expectations of the rest of the competition in your field if you're doing art. I specifically work in video games. A few years back, I worked at a prestigious, one might say, one of the biggest video game companies in the world, and I had a boss. Man, it was tough because I think every month you'd have a review, and every month it was either you're too slow or your quality's not high enough. And what I mean when I say that is it almost felt like I was in this rat race of, okay, do I put in more time to make the quality of the work better, or do I just jam it out faster? And so a lot of you might be feeling the same pressure. It gave me so much anxiety that I developed crazy ass panic attacks, and it took me 10 years to recover, okay? Because it was like my life was on the line. I might have lost my job if I didn't address it correctly, and yet they could not answer whether one was more important than the other. And now, after 10 years, I think to some degree, I think I can finally say, I have the answer, and I want to share it with you so that you can avoid some of these pitfalls. The answer will come at the end of the video. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It's I love it when YouTubers do that. No, the answer is yes. It is both. But if one were to fit into a higher hierarchy of what is more important, it's got to be hitting your deadline if you have one. Always dictates how much time you can put into a piece. However, that is also to say it is up to you to find ways to work more efficiently and quickly. And this is why I do all of my legendary Photoshop tricks and cheats that I have in my Gumroad channel. This is why I want to share a lot of these techniques, and you'll watch some of my videos here on YouTube for free I'll give away a lot of my secrets of how I work very fast. But even if you're working very fast, you still have to push your work to a higher quality. So even being able to work faster doesn't necessarily mean you get to take the rest of the evening off. If you can work faster, that also means you got to put in that time to add that extra oomph. All of these digital trickeries and magics that we use, they do speed you up, but that also means that your customers are going to demand things faster, and they demand higher quality at a faster rate. And what comes with high competition and efficiency and other competing artists is that you have to have that high demand on yourself too. This can be very stressful. This can be very anxiety inducing. And if you're in it right now, man, I sympathize with you. But I will say that the importance that you should put on it is always hit your deadlines, because as an art manager, I would rather have somebody who I know hits their deadlines and maybe the quality isn't up to snuff than somebody who disappears for a week or doesn't give me any updates and says, it's going to take me 2 months. They're very expensive. I don't know what to tell my customers or my clients. Like, that's even worse. So always prioritize just meeting your deadlines. But if you find yourself with the advantage or the benefit or the clout, let's say, of somebody who can say to your task giver, whether it's a producer or manager, if you can say to them, hey, I really want to do a great job on this, and I think it's going to take me an extra couple of days. If that is possible for you, if that is available to you, or if you are a person who is not employed, you're just doing your own thing, put in that extra love, man, because there's enough junk. Okay, junk seems too extreme. What I'm trying to say is that it's an unfortunate side effect of the pressures that artists feel, that we sometimes just rush it and then we don't put in the extra love that it needs to really get some attention on it, some eyeballs on it. Instagram demands that we post every single day. And maybe if that's your thing, hey, you got to post every day. It's still got to be noteworthy. It's still got to be exceptional. And sometimes being exceptional doesn't necessarily just mean putting in more detail, but putting in something that gives it a unique identity, a unique something that stands out. And I can't tell you what that is, because that's up to you to figure out. If you want to make a mark, you have to have something unique to say. Every day of your life needs to be developing a system to efficiently and effectively say something unique and different that other people will try to figure out and decipher how you did it. And if you just follow some template that other people followed, there's nothing exceptional about that. So be exceptional. So put in extra thought and care into everything that you're doing. If you can't put in extra time, then put in some time to think about your strategy of how it's going to look unique and different. And you need to be able to do that somewhat quickly. So reach for a higher standard. And this is meant to not discourage you. I know that there's some people out there that are going, well, I don't have any of that. I don't have any of that planned out. Well, I'll tell you what, it's time to start thinking that no matter what you're doing for art, if you're just making art for t-shirts, you know what? Your t-shirts are still going to have to stand out amongst all the competition. Sometimes that just means art style. I was recently playing Psychonauts 2 on my second channel, my gaming channel, which I have a link to in the text below the video. Go watch me play some Psychonauts. But anyway, the art style in that is so weird. It's so unlike anything else in the game industry because it's made by a comic artist who does lowbrow art gallery stuff. And he doesn't follow any of the same rules. That he's not chasing the same thing that everybody at Blizzard or Riot or everybody that's doing photorealistic stuff is doing. He's marching to his own tune and his art style, and they translated a lot of that into the game. So it gives the game this very distinct, unique identity. And also, there's a great amount of joy in doing that because you find your own personal voice. And especially if you're an artist who feels like, I want to stand out, not just be employed, but stand out. Well, then you really need to start thinking about, like, how can you have a unique voice and say something totally unique? And you might take a month off to just figure out what that's going to be, but do it with intention. And take the time to make it excellent. And I'm not saying that I'm able to accomplish that with every piece, but that should be what you're striving toward. Strive for that excellence. It is a struggle, and if it's too easy, increase the weight. Just like when you're working out at the gym, when it gets too easy, rack on a couple more pounds. That's when people start to notice, when you take on all of that challenge. Don't let yourself get comfortable with not worrying about it, okay? It'll always be there. Get used to that. Get used to that anxiety. It'll always be there. And that's a good thing. By accepting that it's a part of you, by accepting that it's a necessary part of your evolution, you're defeating it. It's through welcoming it, inviting it, accepting it. It's the resisting it. It's the trying to avoid struggle and pain that's going to keep us in mediocrity. This is a reminder to myself as well, because sometimes I fall into that comfort zone of just doing the same thing, and I put the same amount of time and I schedule it to go, I'm just going to spend 2 days on this one, like I always do. And so I sometimes fall into that trap too. And it helps if you can do some jam pieces with people, because then you get to see how they can carry it along a little bit further, and then you pull ideas off of what they're doing. This particular piece was done with my assistant Anton. We passed it back and forth, and then I just wanted to keep going. I didn't want to stop. I wanted to keep adding more and more detail to it. So I kept coming back to it. I put it down and then I do other things, work on other jobs that we're doing. And then a week later, I just put in a bit more detail into it. Until it felt exceptional. That's the goal. Like, if you don't have a deadline, then make it take as long as it takes to be exceptional. I mean, you might not like it, but hey, I think it's, I think it's good enough. It met my highest of standards, I would say. I could see it in like a Bravely Default video game or something, a Square Enix video game. That's my standard. Even though it's line art, it's not chasing that Fortnite painted style or that Last of Us realistic style or anything else like what I've done, even things that I've worked on. It's like, this is the Twilight Monk universe. And I want to do every piece in this art book so over the top. And that's something that I recommend that you strive for as well, especially if you're trying to find your mark. If you're feeling like you're just hearing crickets when you put things out there, it's because you're not doing something exceptional enough. And again, this is me talking to myself too. I mean, when I'm feeling that too, and I'm just not getting the response that I want, it's like a reminder, it's not the sway of the internet or anything. It's just, I'm not doing my best yet. I have to double down, put in extra time. And certainly when you raise the bar for yourself, you raise the bar for what's expected of you. You're going to have to know how you did that, because you're going to have to do it again. And then you're going to have to do it again. And then you're going to have to up the bar even yet again. Every image you create is your brand. So only make the kind of things that you want to keep making, because that's what people will want from you. If you keep making things like that, they will come back. I suppose that's also a warning. Don't make things that you don't like, because then you get stuck getting really good at doing something that you don't even enjoy. That's no fun. Art is about momentum. Building an audience with art is about momentum, and it's about buying yourself enough time to be excellent, to be better at what you're doing, and to hone your craft and add to it. You'll notice this with musicians as well. It's like if Eminem suddenly came out with a rock album, I don't think it would do so well, even though it might be really awesome. It's off-brand. It's not what he's promised people. But if he did an album that was a rap album that had some guitar in it, that's a little bit more of a slow transition. People can buy into that. You get what I'm saying? Hopefully you can relate that to what it is that you do. So take what you do well now and amplify the hell out of it. Give it more time and try to really pinpoint what it is that works about that and what gets attention on that, and keep doing more of that. And if you keep creating something that gives people the same feeling over and over, they'll keep coming back. They'll subscribe, they'll follow, they'll tune in. And that's how you build an audience too. And it's how you reach personal mastery and excellence along your own path, not the path that others decide for you. So I hope that helps you. If I know there are probably some people going through that right now. It's something that I recently went through, and I will go through it again in my life. And then I'll turn back to my own video. I do that sometimes. When I'm struggling with something, I'll listen to my own old videos. Like, hey, man, that younger me knew something or two, helping me out in a time of need. So hopefully there's somebody out there that's going through that, well, I don't wish that on you. But I know at some point, if you're an artist, you're going to go through it. And I hope this helps you to find a little light in the darkness there. So that's it for me this week. I've got, if you like this artwork, dudes, check it out. I'm working on a World of Twilight Monk Volume 2, but you can already pick up Volume 1 over on Amazon. It's paperback, it's high quality print, and it can be delivered directly to your door through Amazon. And I, of course, also have my novels, illustrated novels, that you can pick up on Amazon as well. And I have tutorials if you want to learn how to do this sort of a thing. I got tons of tutorials. If you're brand new, I recommend you check out the Easy Art Lessons. And if you're a little bit more advanced, I got a lot of environment tricks in my environment concept art workshops, such as the Dark Fantasy Workshop and the Advanced Facility Concept Design Workshop. So check those out. And of course, I'm here every week. So dudes, don't forget to drop those comments or your questions in the comments field below the video. I'll try to answer them if I can. And I will see you next week. All right, ciao, baby. Oh, yeah.